Hey guys, so I wanted to do a video talking about the differences between the deep lasso and the shallow lasso. I get that question a lot on Instagram, so let's go ahead and get into it, right? So classically, people think of the lasso, when you just say lasso, most people are thinking of the deep lasso, which is this foot deep through here. This position can be useful. There's really two main types of attacks with this deep lasso like this. One is like a classic, the guy tries to pass this way, you get the leg or something, and you dump the guy out to this side, right? That's like a classic deep lasso sweep. Also with this deep lasso, you can kind of invert through and go for omoplatas and things like that. But generally that's the main one. I generally like to use the shallow lasso more. Every now and then I will go deep with it for certain reasons, but I like the shallow more. I'm gonna go into that for a second. But one of the things with the deep lasso is that classic sweep where you dump the guy off to the side is pretty common. A lot of people know it. So the higher level you get, or if you're fighting a guy, just go to both knees. Yep. If you're fighting a guy who's really big, like you may be able to dump a lot of people, but if I'm like, you know, I'm 150 pounds or so, if I'm fighting a guy who's like 200 pounds, 250 pounds, it's really hard to dump him with it. And then a lot of guys know it's there, so it's tough, and you kind of get stuck here. It's hard to get the guy's weight off me, right? The shallow lasso, it is a very different purpose, right? I don't attack with the lasso in the same manner that you do with the deep lasso. The shallow lasso, the foot's more on the shoulder. And the reason I use this a lot is because it works as a way to keep distance. So like if I'm here and like say, come around this way, say this person starts trapping my foot in between his legs like this. I can use this foot to push his shoulder to get my leg back out, and it helps me set up like spider guard, for example, like the double sleeve position, or if he traps it, I can use it to push, get my foot out, go to the bicep, go to collar sleeve. And most of my attacks really when I play my open guard are not with the lasso, it's when I unlasso. So I might unlasso to go for an omoplata. I might unlasso to shoot a triangle. I might unlasso and go to a de la Hiva hook if he's here. Maybe I unlasso, go here. Now I can start working stuff from the spider guard. I could unlasso, go to the bicep, start working underneath, right? So again, the lasso, this shallow lasso, it's not so much that you're using it to attack, it just allows you to control the position. It's a great initial entanglement grip. If he goes to both knees, like say I'm on both knees, the guy's got my leg stuck, here like this, when I'm in the deep lasso, if I can't dump him, I'm kind of stuck. With this one, I can really push him super far away, and it creates so much space to bring this knee back out, right? And again, if you do like the deep lasso, it's always easy to go from a shallow lasso to a deep lasso and start using it. But if you start in a deep lasso and the guy gets his leg trapped, it can be tricky to get your leg back out. Okay, so that's like a major factor about it. So there is a few attacks you can do while you have this here. One might be like if he traps this leg and we get to like a reverse de la Hiva position. Sometimes that while leaving this foot in the or in the shoulder like this, I can push like this, switch this hand to an underhook, and use that as a way to segue in for my attack. Often with the lasso, like realistically, I actually just call this position, like in my own gym here, I just call it single sleeve control. Because there'll be a lot of times where I like unlasso, switch to a spider hook, and I'm moving around. But building off of this single sleeve is like a really important aspect of the game. So like he grabs here, I can go to double sleeve. Sometimes the guy keeps this away, right? And that's where sometimes this reverse de la Hiva hook with the shallow lasso can come into play. I can underhook and use this to threaten, right? If you start doing that a lot, what'll happen is, you know, I might be here with a shallow lasso, I go in here, he starts pushing this down, that gives me this sleeve, and I can come back up here, right? And then we can build from here. I can use this to go to the de la Hiva, grab the ankle, with a sit-up guard, right? It's just, the shallow lasso is just a very good defensive position. It's easy to get to, and it allows you to transition out to a lot of other positions, okay? So that's kind of the major difference. Kind of bonus points here, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Mergali lasso, or like Shane Jamil does this a lot as well, which is, you can be here and you can go through with this lasso and go under the butt. Let's turn this way, right? So you can see like I take this lasso and I go through under the butt, and this is useful not so much as a control, but as like a quick attack series. So I can be here like this, I break this grip past the body, this lasso goes through, I go under the butt, toes go on the floor, I center up and I start bumping, can even tap here and then flip like that, right? And there's a lot of sweeps you can work with that. That series can also work in good, like if you play like a far side collar sleeve series like this, and the guy gets his elbow kind of tight, like yeah, like you kind of box me out like this, right? So it's here, I can't get to that omoplata triangle. You can go here and use this as a way to start setting up and going for these sweeps as well, right? But again, for me, the way I go about using my lasso, the shallow lasso is kind of the base position that I use to entangle my opponent, like win the grip fight, tie them up, and then I can choose where to branch outward from that. The deep lasso, or the like more Mergali lasso where you go in between the legs and bump overhead, that is more of like an attack series. So you can go from the shallow lasso to a deep lasso and try something. You can go from the shallow lasso to the Mergali lasso and try overhead sweeps. Or you can go from the shallow lasso and transition out to like a De La Hiva game, a sit-up guard, wherever you want to build from there, okay? If you guys have any other questions about the lasso or anything like that, let me know, comment, and let me know. I'm trying to use the channel more to answer really common questions now, so I can put out a lot more videos rather than always doing kind of a massive one, which I'll still do sometimes. It's nice to just knock out a lot of common questions, because there's little questions like that that you don't commonly think about, because you're thinking more in terms of big videos than some of the small ones that make a big difference. Also, follow me on Instagram at JohnThomasBJJ, because we do a lot of small updates and I show a lot of the training we do in the gym. So there's a lot of little details that come up on there that make a big difference to see. All right, guys, as always, if you like the content, like, share, subscribe. Thanks a lot.